What is going on, everybody? It is just about Thanksgiving time. It is the day before, and they dropped this on us. We got a Imperial Royal Guards preview for Star Wars Legion, and I'm so hyped about these guys. They just look absolutely cool, and while at first you might think there's not a lot of painting options for them because they're pretty much just red, I think if you get several of these, you'll probably be able to come up with some really cool slight variants, especially a straight up black and red version, which I think is definitely going to be something people do. But I'd like to see what other things people come up with as well. I wouldn't mind seeing like mostly red with maybe just black gloves, or maybe, you know, maybe even white boots and white gloves with like hints of red. I don't know if you'll see some interesting little variants like that, but it'll be real fun to see all the paint options that come out for these guys. We're going to talk about the stuff they showed us in the preview today. I do want to remind you guys there is the Super Star Destroyer giveaway going on right now. So if you'd like to win a Super Star Destroyer for Star Wars Armada, all you have to do is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I will be announcing the winner of that just before Christmas, around the 21st of December. So literally 1 month from today. So that's cool. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. So we get a little 3D render of the different folks. It looks like the guy with the pistol is the leader. I'm not 100% on that, but we will know for sure once we get it open and we can look at the little rules insert. It'll tell you which one's the leader. Really, it doesn't matter, but you know, for consistency's sake, you should be using the leader as the leader, and then that one at the front with the bigger staff is your extra one. It's going to be your heavy weapons guy. Now the Imperial Royal Guards card itself. Now this unit only has 3 minis as part of the base, which is different because most of your troopers have 4 minis, right? Of course, your strike team only has the one that and then you add one. But 3 is not a very common number as far as a number of troopers that you're going to be able to add, especially since you can't add personnel. It seems like that's a theme with special forces, that you just can't add personnel. You can only add the heavy weapons. We are getting equipment and grenades, but we're also getting 2 training upgrades here, which is pretty cool. They have charge. They're definitely a melee-oriented, trooper unit, which is appropriate. But they do have actually a pretty nice little pistol as well. But these guys definitely want to be up close to you, and that's something that really charge is going to work really well for them. They want to be up in close quarters combat. They want to be directly next to everybody else, and you know, their short-range blaster as well as their really, really, really nice melee is going to facilitate that. So charge definitely helps them move. They can move. Their speed 2, so they can get into base contact with you fairly easily, get a free attack out of it. So they can maybe aim, move, and swing, or they can even move, and swing. And I think move, attack is probably going to be the more common thing. Since you've got the red and black dice, you don't have any surge anyway. You know, the red dice are going to be helpful. You probably get some damage in there. Aim isn't as crucial since you don't have white dice, although the surge would be nice. So an aim is still going to be useful. If you can manage an aim, go for it. Discipline 2 is another keyword they have. When you're issued an order, you may remove up to 2 suppression tokens, which is great. These guys can just be up in the front lines, taking damage all day long, you know, taking shots. Maybe not taking damage all day long. They have the red defense dice, so there's a pretty good chance they're going to get shots that they don't take damage for, but they do get suppression. So next turn, when you give them an order, you can remove 2 suppression right away. So making these guys panic is actually going to be pretty tricky. And they can get issued orders easily because if you've got Palpatine with them, he gets to issue one of them an order. So, you know, despite, you know, if you're running multiples, it's just going to be easier and easier to get these guys orders, and I think that's definitely, there's a lot of natural synergy in this expansion. And then we have Guardian 2, where a friendly trooper at range 1 and in line of sight is defending against a ranged attack. You can cancel up to 2 hit results, and for each of those, you're going to roll your normal defense dice, convert surges, and then suffer a wound. And of course, when you don't have surge, that's just the rule for Guardian 2. If something were to potentially give you surge, then you would also be able to do that. But yeah, so they can, you know, go Guardian for anybody else. A lot of times you want to run these with Palpatine, so this way you can keep Palpatine completely undamaged for when he does decide to go crazy and unleash Force Lightning on everybody. So even though they don't have the defensive surge, you still want to do that. But another really, really good use for these guys is with your other special forces, your scout troopers, because they have a white defense die. So Imperial Royal Guards actually give them a better odds of actually canceling dice. against your scout troopers. So maybe you want to have your Royal Guards kind of stay close to a full unit of scout troopers and you know, give better defense. Because most Imperial units tend to have better armor, so you see red defense dice all over the place. But the scout troopers are, you know, white defense dice, and they can probably use the extra help a little bit more so than a lot of other units. So that's another pretty nice thing about using these guys with Guardian. Now, for our melee, we have a red and a black for the Force Pike. Love it. Love it. For our range, we have the EC-17. It's range 1 to 2. It's 2 black. Still, that's not bad. 2 dice per mini. Now, we're not getting as many minis as we're going to get in some of the other units, so we're not going to run like 6 Royal Guards in one unit. But we can have up to 4. It starts with 3, but you can add a heavy weapons. And so that's pretty cool. So speaking of heavy weapons, here's our Electro Staff guard. Some new things here. He has a special melee weapon of only 2 black. So his melee weapon's worse than the melee weapon, than basically the Force Pike, right? You see they have a red and a black. He rolls 2 black, and he's got this sidearm melee ability. When performing a melee attack, this mini can only use the weapon on this card. So you're like, well, what's going on with that? Well, you know, that's actually kind of a negative in pretty much most cases. That's going to be a negative, but it's because he also gives you the ability when you're meleeing, you gain immune to pierce. So it's more of a defensive weapon than an offensive weapon. So he gives these guys melee defense. Which is important, especially if you're trying to... Whoops, we jumped ahead. Especially if you're trying to go in against an enemy, Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker or somebody with Pierce. You're going to want, you know, an Electro Staff guard there to, you know, potentially deflect those lightsaber attacks. And that's worth not having that 1 red die. The other 3 can still use the red die. There's just this one, so you're going to have a little more. And if you have this guy, maybe you have slightly more incentive to go with the aim before you move if you can manage it. Because, you know, the red dice are almost a sure thing, except for me, because I rolled so many blank red dice. It's criminal. So, but no, it's nice. And the bigger thing is for 25 points here, you're already getting a whole nother mini. And by the way, these minis have 2 health each. So it's like, granted, you run 4 of these, all right, you're still going to have 8 health on 1 unit. That's a lot. It's a lot. 6 health normally for 75 points. That honestly is really not bad. But if you add the extra one, 8 health for 75 plus 25, that's 100 points. It's an expensive unit, but you're getting 8 health out of it, so it's not too bad. Now here's an upgrade we can talk about, Tenacity. It looks like we got Wookiees on there, right? They do this all the time where a unit is going to have, and I love the pose, you know, a unit's going to have stuff with its counterpart, so expect the Wookiees to have the same upgrade. And then Tenacity here is 4 points for training while performing a melee attack. Again, we're already melee focused, right? If you are wounded or have 1 or more of your minis have been defeated, add 1 red die to your attack pool. So this is great. And this is a really nice one that, you know, maybe you could even see putting this on other characters. Like maybe putting something like this on Boba Fett. He might be wounded and you're going to, you know, come in and use those boot spikes. You get an extra red die as well. Anybody who can take this is good. But this is going to work really, really well with your Imperial Royal Guards. It'll actually make up for the Electro Staff guard not getting that red die, right? So you know, Tenacity is a really nice one, but you have to be wounded, so this doesn't really affect you as much if you're unharmed. And then we get Hunter. We've already seen Hunter. Hunter's not really anything new, but it is a nice one when attacking a wounded trooper unit. Now, keep in mind, there's a difference between wounded and missing a mini. So if I have my Royal Guards and one has a wound, I have a wound token on there, we're wounded. I take 1 more wound, I have to pick up that unit, right, and take it off. At that point, I'm not wounded anymore, so Hunter wouldn't trigger. However, Tenacity would. And that's the difference between having a missing unit versus being wounded. You can't ever wound a Stormtrooper unit. Well, they won't ever be wounded because they're going to pick up the unit, right? But they will have minis missing potentially once you shoot the Stormtroopers. So Tenacity is actually a little bit more flexible than Hunter is. Hunter seems like it's a better card, and I've run this on Boba Fett before. Hunter seems like it's a better card for, you know, an operative, and Tenacity seems like it's better, you know, when being used with something like this. I mean, Tenacity could work equally well just about everywhere. But good upgrades. Happy to see them. And these guys just look amazing. I can already see doing like multiple shades of red and then putting some Ard coat over the helmet, you know, just to make the helmet shine. Same color of red, but shiny, as opposed to the cloth, which is not that way. They're going to be fun to paint. And because they're all one color, they're going to be easy to paint too, right? Easy to do moderately well. We'll see if we can maybe do them real nice. I've got everything painted for Legion right now, so I need more stuff to paint, and I need a good audiobook to listen to while I paint, because I've caught up on everything. I'm all caught up with Dresden. I'm all caught up with The Expanse. I'm all caught up with all the Star Wars books that I was interested in. I'm actually eager for some more Star Wars books to drop. But I love to listen to Audible while I paint. What do you do when you paint? Let me know what you guys are thinking about as far as painting goes for these guys. Are you excited about them? How are you going to run them? What do you think? How many are you going to get? Are you going to get up to 4 since Palpatine can let you get 1 more? You could actually run 4 special forces if you got Palpatine. Might be interesting. Granted, you don't have to run 4 Royal Guards. You can do a mixture of other special forces as well. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment and enter to win that thing, the big, what is it, the Superstar Destroyer? You know that thing. All right. Big thanks to all my patrons on Patreon. There's some new giveaways going on out there, so make sure you guys are checking that out as well. Gosh, I just want to thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.